Today, there are more refugees in the world than at any time in history since World War II. There are about 26 million, and that number is only growing. And the reality is that the way the world set up in the wake of World War II to manage refugees is broken. It's so insufficient for the problems that we're facing now. And in a way you can understand, when they designed that system, it was a different world. They probably couldn't have imagined that people would be living outside their home countries for 15 years, for 20 years, for generations. They probably couldn't have imagined also that we would live in a world today where millions, hundreds of millions of people move around the world every year for work. Talent Beyond Boundaries is trying to reimagine the way that the world manages refugees by saying refugees have skills. Given the opportunity, refugees could move to rebuild their lives in countries around the world on the basis of those skills. What we do is make it possible for refugees to migrate to companies and communities and countries that could use their skills. The first thing that we did was try to answer this skepticism we faced, that there really are refugees with skills. A lot of people thought, surely people with skills have found a way to move elsewhere. So the first thing we did was build a database, and we call it the Talent Catalog. And today we've collected data from over 11,000 refugees living in Jordan and Lebanon, answering questions about their work experience, their education, the languages they speak, the particular skills they've picked up along the way. With that data, we've been able to go to employers around the world and demonstrate that these are individuals who could really meet the demands that they have. We then support employers to recruit from this talent pool that was otherwise invisible. We also collaborate with governments to make it possible for these refugees to move on the basis of their skills through skilled migration pathways. Skilled migration pathways weren't typically designed with refugees in mind. That means there are sort of inadvertent barriers that make it hard for refugees to move like many other people do on the basis of their skills. For example, maybe you've got a passport that's expired, and the online system through which you need to apply for a skilled visa won't even allow you to apply. Maybe you aren't able to contact your university to get the paperwork associated with your diploma because it's been shut down. These are the kinds of things that keep refugees from being able to migrate on the basis of their skills, even when they're in demand globally. If even just 1% of refugees around the world had skills that were in demand globally, and they could move on the basis of their skills to another country where they could rebuild their lives, and they could bring their families, that's 500,000 people moving to safety every year. That's about 15 times the number who are going to be resettled in 2019. We're thinking of how do we make the world refugee system more responsive to the reality of what people have to offer.